Shoot. I did it again.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Welcome to 2023. I hope you all had a great new year. Didn't get in too much trouble. Didn't wake up the next day puking or anything like that. It's happened to me. No, it hasn't. It happened to my wife, my ex-wife. A lot. But, you know, for like 8 years, we would play the New Year's show at Radio in Indianapolis. So we were partying all fucking night. And it was crazy. So, yes, there were some of us that woke up in pretty bad situations, feeling little, quite shitty. But I hear you were fine, Brad.
Well, I'm a professional, so yeah. I can drink and then, wake up in the morning and, go about my day without having too many effects. I will say I did drink until about 3 a.m. and then woke up at 7. I had to go. I drank way too much fucking Coke that night, and I had heartburn for most of the night. Didn't get much sleep.
You sniffed too much what?
Sniffed too much Coke, yes.
The turn of the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Happy 2023. We have no manager. USSF told me to give an update. Here it is. That's it." Well, we still do have a manager. And it is still Greg Berhalter.
No, his contract's expired. We just haven't signed anybody new.
I mean, okay. That's correct. Technically, that's the case. And it would be nice if USSF would come out with some sort of announcement that they're either working on a new person or they're working on re-signing Greg. But we didn't get either of that. And their radio silence is deafening. I mean, we don't know shit about what's going on here. But it's not a big deal because so what? I mean, you could have the U20 guy, manage the January camp. So it's not a big deal. Jose Lopez, men, I woke up next to okay, this is confusing. Men? You mean man.
He's talking to us, all of us.
Men. I woke up next to a young lady that was 4 inches bigger than me.
So are we talking micro penis or enlarged clit? Which one?
Where was she bigger
4
than you?
inches, man. Woo. Yeah.
I mean, she had 4 inch bigger nipples or 4 inch bigger boobs. But if she's 4 inches bigger than you down there.
And Jose, were you sure she was a lady? If she was
I think we might be asking if that's a lady. Dude looked like a lady. All right. All right. Well, that's it. Oh,
you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I've watched it numerous times.
So there's
not all of them because that show went on forever. At some point, I just said I can't watch this anymore.
It was like the first episode, and I'm spacing names right now. But the narcissistic guy, I don't know why I'm spacing his name.
They're all kind of narcissistic on that show. Danny DeVito,
the psychotic narcissistic guy.
I don't know.
Danny's son, but I can't think of his name right now. It's been a while since I've watched the show. But in the first episode, he gets super fucking drunk and ends up waking up next to what he thinks is a girl. And he's like, "That's right, look at that." And it turns out it's a guy with long hair and a beard. And he freaks out, and then the giant black guy comes up and goes, "How's that ass?" and smacks him on the ass, and that's how it ends. It's Dennis. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, that's
same concept here.
All right, yeah, somewhat. I do want to report.
Jose says he promises it was a young lady.
What was her name? Just her first name, not her full name. Just want to know. I like to know first names. I like names. I do want to report that Hello Mood is actually pretty good. So I have to give an endorsement, and they are going to start sponsoring the show in February. I have to say, I don't notice much difference between what I got sent and what I usually imbibe in. So, Hello Mood. Props
Name
so
was
far.
Doug.
Her name was Doug. Okay. That's fine.
That was Chris, by the way. Chris said that.
I think that's fine. I mean, I really don't have any issue, what you do on your free time. That's up to you, man. Do we have, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, U.S. Soccer's put out a new video. This is a few days ago about U.S. Soccer 2022 in review. And it has all of the great parts in it. It starts off with Greg telling the team about how they're going to change the way the rest of the world views American soccer, which do they not know how much they get mocked for that slideshow that he did?
You just got to roll with it. I guess.
So are they
we're this far into it. Okay.
Are they trying to embarrass him? Because the next scene was the debacle in Canada where we lost, and he said he was really happy with the performance. So there's two. And then the next thing in the video, after a bunch of other things, is Yedlin's inspiring speech to the team prior to the Costa Rica game. And, of course, a Costa Rica game where we lost 2-0.
Oh, they're really showing the highlights, huh?
Yeah, it's just really a weird sort of...
This is how the team's coming together.
It's
massive losses.
Really shitty. And, of course, it doesn't mention anything about Reina or any of that stuff, or the fact that some of the major players in the footage scoring goals and making saves were Stefan and Pepe, who both got fucked and reamed in the ass and didn't even make the team. So,
well, you got to give him props, not props, but you got to give him credit for not really showing Reina at all, because he played like 2 games under Berhalter. Okay, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get my point.
Well, he played a half at the World Cup and a little before that, not much. So there's that. And the founder of Home Depot called workers today lazy, fat, and stupid. Well, that's not going to get you many brownie points, my friend. People are generally willing. The average American worker is not lazy, fat, and stupid. I don't believe that. I don't. I think most people want to do a good job when they're at work.
I'm not lazy.
Well, you are fat. Not really that fat.
Not really that fat.
Yeah. You're not. You are. Aren't you lazy a little? We all need to be lazy.
I'm a procrastinator, but I get my shit done.
Yeah, me too. So neither of us are stupid in the normal way of thinking of the word stupid. Is there a dog barking? Did you hear that dog? I heard a dog bark. That might be around outside somewhere. Okay, so
there you go. There you go, Derek.
Arthur Blank, owner of Home Depot, Atlanta United. Now, he didn't say it. It was another dude. It was the 93-year-old dude. Arthur Blank is not dumb enough to say something like that. This was the 93-year-old co-founder of Home Depot. And apparently he thinks America sucks. And all of us suck. And, he's worth $2.5 billion, but the rest of us, we're trash. All right. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well done.
Jose says, as someone that has to go to Home Depot a lot, them people are hardworking and usually really helpful.
I agree. I've been to Home Depot and I've never run up against like an inability to find something. Dude, stop. There's a dark barking here.
I think it's a dog. there's a dog barking here. Be a little strange if otherwise.
Yeah. No, I think it's on the street somewhere.
There he goes.
I have my
Adam says it was his dog. Could
Could have been, but unless you live here with me in Fishers. But But no, I do have my porch door open because it's 47 degrees out. It's not bad.
Mhm.
It's not open much. It's just open 2 feet, and to get some ventilation here to the show.
Jose says, it's the cat. Come back in disguise.
No, it definitely is a dog.
Meow, meow. Rough, rough.
Yeah, no, I know the difference. I've had both a cat
Cat's
and a
out there
dog.
going, cat's out there freezing during the negative 20-degree day. Goes, maybe the fucker is a dog person. Ugh. Thaw out. I'll go over and try that one.
I don't remember who said this, by the way, but someone said you shouldn't judge someone by how they look. No, you really shouldn't judge them. But you know what? When you meet somebody and you look at them, you're going to have an opinion in your brain of what that might project.
Mm-hmm.
We all do it. But judging someone, that's kind of a harsh term, but we all have preconceptions, right? So no, you shouldn't judge somebody by the way that, unless they're dressed up like in Nazi, outfit, and they have a gun. Then I'm thinking, well, this is kind of weird. I think that guy's probably a Nazi, and I'm not going to hang out with him.
What if it's a person in shit smeared clothes with 3 needles in their arm? Can I judge them then? Well,
okay. The shit smearing thing is pretty. You'd have to smell the shit because it could be Hershey's chocolate. But if it is in fact shit, and there are in fact needles in their arm, yeah, that's probably not good. But that's an impression. That's called an impression, or a first impression, if you want to call it that. If it's the first time you ever met the guy who's shit smeared and covered in needles. I
feel like judgment has to be on the first, almost like the first impression, because if you know the person and you know they're a dick or they're a junkie that's probably going to try to take your hat because they can sell it down by the bridge or whatever,
yeah,
and then that's no longer a judgment. Then you just know who they are.
Well, let me put it this way: if you've run into this shit smeared guy with needles in his arms 4 or 5 times, where he's been shit smeared and has needles in his arm, maybe you have to figure out where you're hanging out, because you're probably not hanging out in a really good spot if you're running into this guy.
So many jokes to be made here. Okay.
I mean, I don't know
that's every block in San Francisco at this point, right?
I don't know where you are. Maybe you're just an addict who doesn't like shit.
San Francisco has a fucking app that indicates where there are actually human feces on the sidewalk at. Like, you can literally go to there's a map you can pull up and it'll be like, there's poop here, here, and here.
And you want to know why? Because the people in California are so thoughtful, and they're
getting back to nature.
Homelessness is so bad. Let's do something about it. And they do absolutely fucking nothing about it. That's because there are a bunch of fucking elites there who really don't care about how fucking homeless and living in shit you are in squalor. They don't fucking care. I don't care what party they are in. They don't care. All right. So enough of that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some soccer.
Okay. Well, we can do one. Well, I'll let you choose your own adventure here, Derek.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about a fun interaction that Tact had with an MLS pundit, or would you prefer to talk about transfer news?
Tact.
Okay.
By the way, Tact was almost on the show tonight.
Yeah.
It was this close.
It was like last seconds. I can't make it, guys. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. It was this close. It's like Jose's girlfriend.
Orange is close, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a deep dive. We're going to get to the point here in a sec, but okay.
Yes. MLS?
Of course.
Pundit Nico Moreno says, I'm told Christian Roldan is close to signing an extension with the Sounders. What a shocker. That would secure him for 5 more years. Source added that there were multiple offers from other clubs on the table, including 2 outside MLS. Like what? In Colombia,
USL,
Mexico, USL.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, that's the thing. Outside of MLS could be anything, right?
I mean, it could be League One. We don't know. Great move by Weibel in Seattle, keeping the midfielder. I mean, what else? Really, what is a real legit offer he's going to get at this point in his with his age.
Again,
go
well,
abroad.
who knows? He might go because he had to have citizenship. He could go to this El Salvadorian league.
He could play for one of the lower teams in Mexico. There
Sure.
are teams that on the lower end of the Mexican table that probably wouldn't mind having a player like Roldan. So, yeah, I could see that, but it ain't going to be like EPL or France or anybody.
I don't imagine nowhere in Europe. Kevin says, Miss Filippo, too busy fueling MLS hate clearly. Of course he's joking. He says my last message was sarcasm. We all could read it.
We know that. Yeah.
And that's actually the topic of today.
Okay.
Because a response from not Filippo. P. Shilton.
Peter Shilton, the old goalkeeper.
Must be.
The English national team goalkeeper from many years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably not him.
Including outside of MLS is what it says. So outside of MLS, I'm sure his World Cup performances was the key.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's clearly a joke. Clearly doesn't rate him that high, but come on. It's for shits and giggles.
Yeah. There's no way.
So Nico quote tweets him, says, absolutely idiot. Must be one of those tact followers. LOL.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Here we go. I didn't think you were allowed to say things like absolutely. You're calling people an idiot. I didn't think you could do that. Because when I tried to call somebody an idiot on Twitter a week ago, and it told me, do you really want to post a post like that?
That's from the old guard. I'm guessing Elon probably has not gotten to that comment because people say far worse. Trust me.
Well, why wouldn't it? Didn't say I couldn't post it.
No, yeah. I know.
They said, do you really want to make a post that calls somebody a name or something like that? And I'm like, okay, fuck you, I won't. And I did.
Derek. Get banned a week into Twitter. And then it'd be a good laugh. We could have an entire show based on that.
Well, that was the thing. I didn't know how serious this warning from Twitter was about, hey, do you really want to say something like that? And I'm like,
if people can go on here and call people literal Nazis or insert random insult that should be taken seriously, but has been watered down so drastically, and we're going to get to that here in a second too. There's some words that people use willy-nilly.
All right. Yeah,
describe anybody they don't like.
I bet. So. I mean, half this country is apparently Nazis. Jesus. Yeah. Grant Tuberville, manager tactical out here catching strays.
So I guess I should also specify. Nico has some credentials here, but he covers Sounders.
Oh, he's a Seattle dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cocksucker. All right. That pretty much sums that up. I've been warned. People warned me when I got on Twitter. Do watch out for all the Seattle people. They're fucking lunatics. Tactical manager replies, the guy he is referring to does not even follow me. Nico needs to seek help. Nico does need to seek help.
So Nico responds,
I didn't know whether or not he followed your reckless content. That tact type follower is just a way to describe people with ridiculous, unfounded, and usually outrageous opinions about MLS or MLS players. Like what? All with little to no knowledge of the league. New Year, same tact. God, this guy's a fucking idiot. Holy fuck, this guy's an idiot. What a whiny bitch. He's glad. He better be glad I don't fucking live in Seattle because I'd walk up behind him unbeknownst to him, grab him by his fucking baby nuts from behind and just yank him and stuff him in his fucking anus. What a fucking creepy.
For all those who might be trying to take that out of context, clearly a joke. Let's not get our panties into
I don't think it's really possible to stuff somebody's fucking testicles in their asshole.
For science, Derek, you could record a video and post it to YouTube and say it's educational.
My point is I'm a pussy and I wouldn't confront him directly. I just hurt him indirectly where he couldn't see me. That's what I'm saying. All right. So, but God, this is just disgusting. Like now there's a whole like, are we tact people? Are we tact people, Nico? Come on. Attack us, motherfucker. God damn.
I kind of talk about this. I was on a PC. Hey guys, can't we all be get along type of mentality. It's a new year. Come on, guys.
No, but now this guy's just like casting aspersions on like a whole group of people.
All right, Jose wants us to read the responses real quick. I'll get to my response here in just a second. Let's just see what happens here. See, Walter says, you have it wrong. People who only follow MLS don't understand MLS criticism because of their own myopic view. Can't be serious, etc., etc. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, if you follow one thing and only cover one thing, it's going to be... Oh, he said mine. He goes, I meant yours. So the comment's under mine, I guess. So let's see. Nope. Bulls. I'll have to pull it up a different way. Hold on one sec.
All right. Ours. Okay.
You. Oh, this. Yeah, I didn't think we covered that last show. Where is this at? Is it under? Sorry, I've got to go back to tweets and replies, I guess.
You mean you replied to it and there was a bunch underneath yours?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Did you go about making unsavory comments about Roldan and Morris? Because I've heard you say rather pleasant things about a number of MLS players. Oh, this is to tack. Nico, broad brushstrokes of fans is not a way to grow a league. Perhaps social media isn't for everybody, including you, Nico.
All right, let's see. He talks about Tack talks about how it was. He didn't mention Roldan or Morris. He was talking about somebody else in the post, and I go, I was referring towards the ire that was sent in your direction.
Yeah. He's paid to have shit takes. I think I have a future in journalism, boys.
Woo! Oh,
Ric Flair.
Jose just wanted more Jose on the screen.
He just wanted some Ric Flair. Ric Flair.
So, yeah, there's a whole thing as far as this broad brush strokes being laced across the board, and the whole anti-MLS mentality that gets dropped on people to try to discredit opinions is at a massive increase over as the years have progressed here. And it's not just obviously soccer content in general, but I'm going to bring up somebody else here. I ended up getting my response back and forth with this person was quite cordial, and we followed each other. And they have their own podcast, and this is not a slight against him by any means, but I brought the same point up though.
You're warning me not to say anything mean.
Yes, let's not be a dick. I mean, because it was a quite nice back and forth. So let's be nice.
That's Brett's tender way of saying, Derek, play nice, please, God.
All right.
I won't shit on this guy.
I guess let's start here. Let's go here.
All right.
So here's what Tom says. Aaron Long update. Expecting a decision soon. Long has narrowed on the list of 2 MLS clubs. From what I understand, it's like it's Seattle and Miami, apparently. I thought it was one of the LA teams that were going for him. But
so did I. Yeah.
Offers from Liga MX, Cruz Azul, and Monterrey. Monterrey, yeah. Dumbass. Come on. That was a fucking softball too, man. Jesus.
Oh, we can't see any of this that you're reading.
Oh, yeah, I did that, didn't I? Go to share. What the fuck?
This was one of Brett's New Year's resolutions. To become confused when putting up the Twitter stuff.
Filippo, I don't know. I don't want to go back through his history to find a Roldan to Dortmund take. And he claims that he claims that was taken out of context. But basically, people are saying that his take was that Roldan could play for Dortmund.
No fucking no way. Come on.
If anyone wants to tag me on Twitter, I'll pull it up happily and we can go over that. But I can't go back through this. I've already wasted too much time digging through my content to find that one.
There's one player on Seattle that could play for Dortmund in his peak height. One kid, one guy, and it's the best player on the team. And it ain't fucking Morris.
16-year-old kid?
It ain't Morris, no. And it ain't Roldan. It's the best player on Seattle. Who is it, people? You tell me who the best player on that team is.
Stephen Craig.
No. Everybody knows who it is. Center attacking midfielder. Central midfielder. Best player on the team. Come on. First person to get it gets a free shipment of Hello Mood. No. It's good. It's close. Yes. There's your answer. Nicholas Ladair. Best player on the team.
Okay, and I think he was specifying maybe the second team of Dortmund or something like that. I don't know. But even then.
He's 27, 28 years old. What is he going to benefit going to Dortmund's second team? I mean, what's the benefit of that for him at this point? He was never good enough for Dortmund.
I think he was maybe saying that he could play for Dortmund's second team. And even then, I would be like,
yeah,
really?
well,
you think so?
What's the point of that? Exactly. And I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah.
Dortmund too.
So
listen,
okay.
Yeah. He could play for Dortmund too. I'm not going to take this that far. But you know what? He's not ever was good enough. Morris could have gone to Werder Bremen prior to all his injuries. I think he could have done something in the Bundesliga before all his injuries.
Chris, Gary, and Jose are generally the two that always get us this shit. So if Christian Roldan is in the conversation, I'm the let's just click on this fucking name.
I'm the A team, if you want to call it that. He'd be a lock in the B team. Right. But okay, whatever you want to tell yourself. And yes, Roldan would be a great bench player at Dortmund. Good eye. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Roldan wouldn't even start for the third team. Yeah, it's a take.
Listen, Roldan has been a high-quality MLS player. As I just said before, I think he could play in Liga MX too. I think he could do that. I think he could probably play in Belgium, no problem. Netherlands, no problem. Switzerland, no problem. I think there are lots of places he could play, no problem. But English Premier League, no. Championship, maybe at his peak he could have played in the championship and had a good effect. But let's just be honest about what he is. He's a very limited player. And he's a serviceable but limited player. He could have played in the Scottish Premier League, no problem. Would have been probably a pretty good player in the Scottish Premier League. So we're not shitting on Roldan.
He's got the work effort to at least do, or ethic to do well there.
Yep.
He'll do the dirty work there. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get off Nico. Let's get off Roldan there. Let's jump back to Long because
they're long.
But he also has some interest, some offers from a few European clubs too in England.
Yeah, both championship clubs.
And remember, guys, he's free at this point.
Yeah. So, of course, there are some championship clubs. By the way, if you watch the championship, there's a lot of horrible fucking defenders in the championship. I mean, just wretched defenders. You think Leeds defense is bad. Watch some of the championship over this last weekend. It's abhorrent.
Speaking of championship defenders, let's talk about one real quick.
Truly courageous header by the Philly Union product, who's played every minute. Whoa. You just totally flipped that.
I moved up a bit because I missed the Austin Trusty part here. We're talking about Austin Trusty.
Austin Trusty goes up and over the Borough defense to get the assist for Birmingham City Monday. Yeah, they still lost, though. Truly courageous header by the Philly Union product, who played every minute for the Blues so far this season. Yes, he has. But where are they in the table right now? Birmingham,
mid lower, I thought.
They are. Shit. I wrote it down earlier today. I can't find it.
No. Ah, you bastard. All right. Let's click it once.
Ooh.
All right, so Birmingham.
Wait a minute.
Did I miss him?
No, you're in League One. That's why.
Oh.
I'm like, Derby, Peterborough, Port Vale. This isn't the championship.
Hey, EFL, and that's what it took me to. Bastards.
Port Vale.
17th.
Yeah, exactly. They're nearing the bottom of the table. Listen, that's not all his fault, but he has had some rough games this season. Let's be really honest. Now, you don't get to watch a lot of that on ESPN Plus because they only put up the occasional game you can watch later. But the ones that have been up and the ones I've been able to watch elsewhere, I mean, he's been fine. He's not been great, though. He's not blowing my balls off.
Look at this. Oof. We got Filippo coming on for a bit.
Oh, Filippo's coming on.
Waiting for the ding.
All right.
Real quick, wait, since this is not official EFL coverage here, I feel like we can probably watch this a little bit.
Okay.
There he goes. Ball's coming across. He's right here. Ball.
Yep, that's a ball.
Oh. Man, he put his body on the line for that fucking thing.
He did. Listen, Austin Trusty's one of the guys whose agent, along with many other agents, has said, you know what? Greg told me what to do, what I needed to do to make the team. And then I did what he told me to do. And including Stefan said the same thing. Not, this is behind closed doors. And then I still didn't make the team.
Yeah.
Pepe said it.
Brooks.
Stefan said it. No, Brooks didn't say it. I'm still waiting for Brooks to say something, though.
He'll come out soon. He still has hopes for at least one recycle here, so he's probably not going to say much of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
BMR says, how do we know that's a real Filippo? Well, you know what? The real Filippo has the link, so if it's not the real Filippo, we won't see Filippo on here.
Guess he won't be coming on. That's like they were saying before. Is that the real Pete? What? Of course it is, Pete. Well, I'm sure somebody could.
There's some people who are faking shit out, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Sam has that dude who stole his identity. That's
and that's not really Michael Cameraman in our chat. So.
No, it's not. It's a guy who's quite funny.
Yeah.
Who has taken up the turds
moniker.
Aura and moniker. Yes. Okay.
Apparently, Long also had interest with Saudi Arabia teams.
What?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm still not showing this shit. Motherfucker. Yeah. He's offers rejected from Saudi Arabia amid interest.
Why would they be interested in him? I get the whole Ronaldo thing.
People were joking around about this, saying that it could have been Long and Brooks' partnership, slotting up those nice 40-yard bombs to Ronaldo scoring goals.
Well, yeah, I will say Tom Bogert's usually pretty. He's pretty useful with these reports.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if his agent told Tom that, what's Tom going to say? Oh, you're full of shit to his agent. He's not going to, because he wants the information to continue to flow to him. So he's not going to call that out. I do find Cruz Azul, although, I don't know if this is Cruz Azul of your grandmother. I find that a little odd. But then again, they did bring Gonzalez to the EPL, and he fared pretty well there. So
was it Cruz Azul that had Areola for a bit?
No.
I know Herc was there. Herc was at every team in Liga MX.
Herc was mostly at Puebla.
Everywhere. Did you hear though that Herc announced that he's off of ESPN FC at this point?
No.
Yeah, he was on a broadcast, and somebody called him out and said, "Hey, this is a great broadcast." He goes, "Yeah, it was my last show with ESPN FC."
What the fuck?
My hope is that he's got something else lined up, and he basically said, "I'm bowing out, guys."
Well, listen, knowing that now, and you didn't tell me that before the show, that makes me think of lots of things, and lots of different scenarios where Herc probably lost his job. Maybe calling Berhalter a muppet, and other things.
I thought he said it was. Hold on. Football Americas is part of ESPN or ESPN Deportes.
Yeah.
ESPN
yes.
FC? Yeah.
No, it's part of ESPN FC too.
Yeah. So, I will never be able to find that response, so I'm not going to bother trying.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, he's basically made it sound like it was his last show. And whichever show that they were highlighting at the time.
So, is Seb leaving too, or is it just Herc that said that?
Just Herc, as far as
I tell you what. If they both leave, nobody's watching that show anymore. Because the reason people watch that show is because Seb and Herc
all the other contributors to ESPN FC don't have the the mojo that they had. So
no, they've got a special something going on there. So if that show is over and it's going to be hosted by other people, well then fuck that show. I'm going to watch wherever Herc goes because I know Herc's going to say it like it is, and I hope he didn't get in trouble for what he said about U.S. soccer and what he said about Greg. And he said a lot of things. So just remember, there really are people who will just make shit up for fun.
inside MLS. On top of the already likely
New departure.
Yeah. Jordan Morris.
The Sounders are interested in parting ways with 28-year-old winger Jordan Morris. The Sounders have been astounded by Leo Chu's work rate and development over the last couple of months, well into the offseason. Listen, we've been telling you this for a while, and a lot of people know it, and some still don't. Jordan Morris is done. He's done. Those legs are fucked. Hey, it's tack.
Well, and I think maybe Seattle's finally listening to Tact on his anti-MLS rhetoric.
What do you? I mean, he's gone, Tack. I think his career is on the way down, baby.
What did I miss?
Jordan Morris.
Jordan Morris is apparently out of Seattle soon. Oh, they're looking to part ways with Jordan Morris apparently.
Oh, he's leaving Seattle. So Nico's not going to care about him anymore. He's no longer a useful player. What I was listening to you guys about Nico. What I find astonishing about him is how he has I have absolutely nothing to do with what's going on his Twitter, right? There's a random guy talking crap about Roldan because, I mean, anyone with half a brain at this point doesn't really rate Roldan besides Sounders fans. And
there are two other teams outside of MLS interested in his services, though.
Yeah, and then this guy blames me for someone calling Roldan crap. It's just, I just don't. It's just.
How did this start? How did you and Nico connect, or did he just seek you out, or
no, he does. He's had some weird interactions with other accounts, and sometimes I've jumped in. Same way Brett jumps in sometimes. But I haven't really interacted with him in forever.
Nobody ever goes after me.
Yeah, he doesn't really go after me all the time. But this guy, I asked people within the league, people that I respect, because there are people in the league that I respect. There's a good chunk I don't respect because they're just shit reporters at the end of the day. But there are great guys that work in the league, and
the fuck. What the hell just happened?
Everyone got kicked out.
Everybody but me. I'm just sitting here like you were talking. All of a sudden, you guys both left because I was reading the rest of this tweet, and all of a sudden, it's like I'm like, what the fuck just happened, guys?
Well, at least now I'm on top.
Derek does prefer to be a bottom. So
okay, so that's better. Okay,
I do. I really do. I mean,
but anyhow,
less work on the bottom. Right?
Yeah, true. But let's not get into any MLS conspiracies that they might have just taken us down here. But I asked some actual good reporters and people that work within MLS, and based on what they said, most don't really take Nico seriously. He's not really affiliated to the league. He works for like some Sounders independent media based on what they knew. But some of them said they even interacted with him before and said that guy's not a serious journalist, so don't take him too seriously. He is one of the Sounders insiders, I guess, because I mean, not so many people are covering soccer in this country, especially MLS. So there's that, but most people don't care about him. That's why you see him very often kiss ass of like Tom Bogert and Doyle. He's like trying to grow in the industry. So that might be why he attacked me. It might just be him showing to the other guy, see, I'm standing up for MLS, but no one asked for it. No one cares. That's the truth.
You do have to wonder what he's thinking, really, because in many ways, there's this gigantic population of independent people like you, like Pete, like us, like Jake, like Sam. We're all doing our own thing. Would you want to lose all of those people? You want to make a childish remark and lose everybody else? Like, okay, I guess you can suck a lot of establishment cock and try to get in the game, right? Like maybe you're going to end up at MLS and be standing next to Matt Doyle during his next report, giving your opinion. That's the only thing I can think of. Because there's no other reason to make those kind of massive generalizations. About you or anybody else.
I don't. It's almost as if I just started to just explicitly push MLS fans away from me, except for the fact that probably 75% of the people that watch my channel are actually MLS fans, and they see that I don't hate on the league. I'm just being as non-biased and rational as possible. Some takes are right, some are wrong, like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
you do claim that Breck Shea is the GOAT, so.
Yeah, that's actually MLS propaganda, if anything. It's unfortunately, despite them thinking I have so much power, I have not been able to convince people that Breck Shea is the actual GOAT. They still don't believe me, especially when the World Cup ended. I saw a lot of people pushing this messy GOAT propaganda, completely ignoring the existence of Breck Shea. But I'm going to work more. I think 2023, I should probably work on that. I don't think I spread enough Breck Shea propaganda.
Speaking of spreading stuff, how about that rumor that Breck Shea's got the herpes?
Was it herpes?
It wasn't. I mean,
most
likely to have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a rumor. It was like a conspiracy you guys made up. Breck Shea is probably clean, man.
Well, we constantly create lore, and it's not our fault if that lore happens to spread across the internet.
No, but listen, that
Allegedly.
lore is based on somebody I knew back in 2009 or 8. I knew her for a few years. Shit, I should have said that.
Yeah, you did.
Anyhow, and I would talk with her regularly about FC Dallas, and she was sort of an insider. And she talked about several times that Breck Shea's roommates would request. He went like through 2 or 3 roommates in a year at one point because he was partying and there were girls coming over constantly.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Derek, you can't play at that high level with herpes. Breck Shea can't have herpes. He played too well to have. You can't.
What? Where's the cutoff? High school?
Do you think
you play herpes with herpes in high school?
Oh, high school you can manage that, but do you think Messi has herpes? Of course not. You can't play at that level with herpes.
Well, I think you could. Maybe not syphilis, but herpes. I think you could cover that up. There's all kinds of creams and lotions and medicines now. All right, Jose Lopez for $199. If his wife leaves him, he's going to blame Tack.
I think this is a reference to Nico.
Nico? I mean, I don't know, man. Is Nico even married? He has too much time thinking about me. It's kind of weird.
So you were saying that that within the industry, he's not really seen as a serious journalist. So at that point, wouldn't you think some serious journalist, and I guess that's kind of an oxymoron in its own right,
these days,
couldn't they come out and say, hey, Nico, quit alienating a portion of the population that we would like to draw in as fans at some point? It may not be maybe a long haul before they become fans, but we can eventually pull them over, you know?
Well, I mean, most of them are fans of MLS. They're just critical. The problem is they think, here's the thing. There's like a part of the population, and this goes beyond soccer, okay? This goes beyond soccer. There's a part of the population that thinks if you say something negative, you see no positives. There's a part of idiots in the world right now that see it this way. I criticize Derek, they're gonna go and say, oh, he criticized Derek. There's nothing good about Derek. So when you criticize one specific thing, it doesn't mean you don't see all the positive. The same applies to Greg Berhalter. If you criticize one thing, it doesn't mean you don't see the positives, which there ain't many, but there's a few.
3.
Well, and how many people hate Ohio State football?
Are
they all anti-NCAA football fans now?
Yeah,
it's basically the same context.
It's kind of crazy. It's almost as if so for example, I don't watch football that much, and by football I mean NFL, okay, before people take this out of
ball, right?
Yeah, egg ball. So I see that a lot of people love and hate Tom Brady, okay? So are you going to say the people that hate Tom Brady are anti-NFL? What the hell, man?
No, you don't. And here we get into the whole thing, which is nuance. You're really not allowed to have nuanced opinions on anything. Brett and I have been watching MLS for as long as I can remember. We've been very supportive of MLS, but we've criticized MLS too, especially their stupid new deal.
Derek is
TV
happy
deal.
about the Apple deal, and he likes MLS Next Pro. It's his favorite division of MLS.
And MLS Next Pro, I think, is just setting up children to play against children. I don't know how that makes children better, but hey, I'm allowed to say it. And it doesn't make me hate MLS. It just maybe I don't like everything they do. And so I get what you're saying. And I think most people do. I think that's the point, right? That's the point. Yeah. Most people do.
Yeah. It's kind of wild because the thing they don't understand, a lot of these, some of these journalists, right? More like Nico, and there's a few too. that I could go on and mention if you guys want me to actually give names.
I'm fine with it. Go for it.
What they don't understand is if I'm tweeting about MLS, I'm like talking about the league, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Any of it is attention. And there's really, and right now MLS is in a stage where even if people hate watch it, that's good. I mean, a lot of people hate watch our channels. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't really matter. I mean, you'd rather have people that enjoy watching you for positivity instead of negativity. But at this point, MLS needs everything they can get. So telling like there was when I made a poll. I don't know if he showed you, Derek. I made a poll asking my followers on Twitter, which obviously people that are not my followers voted as well.
We accidentally selected casual fan.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah, I was like, why? Like, are you a diehard, a casual? And most people watch MLS. It was 75%, and there was 26% that didn't watch the league at all, right?
Yeah.
Which they need to take one thing into consideration. There is a 10% of my followers there on Twitter. They're not Americans, so that makes sense, right? Brazilians and from other places. My point is, when I did this poll, there were MLS fans claiming that if you don't watch the league, you are a problem, which you can't guilt people into supporting the league just so it grows. First, the league is owned by billionaires. I don't have to support a billionaire. They can figure it out on their own. They're fine. They don't need my money. They're okay. Okay, sure, I'll watch the league and more money will come in and they can use that money to reinvest, but they're not starving. They're okay.
They want your $15 from Apple.
Yeah, they'll be all right. The second thing is you don't guilt people into it. You kind of like try to make points of why they should watch it, right? You go, why should they watch MLS? Like, guys, listen, it's a league that's growing very fast, one of the fastest growing leagues in the world. There's a lot of young American talent. There's some good designated players that you can watch. Alphonso Davies came out. It's like, give it a try. Don't like, it's changed a lot the past 10 years. Give it a try. Instead, they go on, they call you a bunch of names, they label you a bunch of shit. They make you almost despise the league and not want to watch it. I don't understand what their goal is. I think some of these MLS fans, because a good part of the soccer fan base in the past, at least, it was a lot of like nerdy guys or sometimes guys that couldn't really play other sports in school many, many years ago. So I think what happens with them is some of them don't have the social skills to bring people into the league. So they drive you away, almost like those guys that when they were 13, 14, they started watching MLS. They couldn't get any girls. They would drive the girls away. Now they're driving the fans away with it too. So here's
the funny thing. This is really amazing.
We got our 0.1% of female population in our chat right now. Look at that. Hey, Lisa.
Lisa, love you. This is really interesting because I experienced the exact opposite during those 10 years of growth. And Brett can attest to this. So we had this group of journalists and other people and soccer friends and whatever. It was a little group that we had on, was it Facebook? Before that, it was something else. Anyhow, I would put out these reports showing year by year the number of young Americans who were getting a chance to play in MLS. And it was getting better every year. Every year it was ticking up. And I said, the MLS academies are good. They're going to produce. And if this chart stays the way it is, MLS is going to be one of the reasons we get better as a country. And I got so much fucking shit from people about like, oh, quit sucking up to MLS. They're not, those young players will never amount to anything. MLS academies are shit, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you can't win either way you do it or either way you do it.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's right. Like sometimes when you promote something MLS, there will be some people that will shit on you. But overall, any opinion that you put out, people will like. There's always some that will disagree. But as long as you're fair about it, at least as long as you have conviction that you're saying actually what you believe, whether it's right or wrong, who gives a shit, dude? We can always be right. We can always be wrong. But I'll give you an example of how this actually helps the league. I tweeted many, many months ago, before the Open Cup final, whenever that was, September, I think, of 2022, I tweeted that I have a soccer school here in Orlando, and I have over 300 students. And throughout the school year of 2021, 2022, I asked a lot of the kids, almost all the kids, if they knew Orlando City. And these are kids that play soccer in Orlando, to which almost every single kid had no idea what Orlando City was, besides a few Brazilian kids. Right. And I tweeted that out
That's sad.
Because I think Orlando City does a horrible job connecting the community. And they've been losing fans every season. Even though the team is better than when we started, we've been losing fans, which is nuts, right? So it shows that quality of play was never the issue. They had more fans when they were shit. Now that Orlando consistently makes the playoffs, wins an Open Cup, there's less fans that care about it. But what happened was the director of football, maybe of Orlando, someone higher up there in Orlando, DM'd me. Not really like not complaining about it, trying to like understand what do you think should be done, like trying to improve. All right, and I appreciate that. Did he do any of the things I suggested? Probably not. But regardless, he saw it, and maybe he did. Maybe he will. Maybe he thought about it and did things I didn't suggest that are even better or worse. But nevertheless, that tweet got a guy that's higher up to see it and think about it. Whether he'll do something, who cares? But saying that it doesn't matter and that those criticisms don't play a role is bullshit. They do play a role. People do see it.
So
I'm not saying Don Garber
criticism. Yeah.
So given who pays you, you and Pete, did the person at Orlando know that you're funneling all your players from Orlando over to New York Cosmos?
No, I'm not, because I don't think so. I don't know if many of them would make the team right now. I mean, the Cosmos have some pretty high standards, right? We had Pele playing there at some point.
Oh, yeah. And we should say that's one of your countrymen. So, all condolences there. I mean,
yeah.
I grew up with Pele. I know you guys are younger than me, but I got to see Pele play, with the Cosmos back when I lived in New York. So he's a legend to me. Of course, we call him Pele. I know it's pronounced differently in your country.
Pele.
Yeah. I mean, I never really figured that out.
Yeah, I guess I never watched Pele play besides like highlights. I actually have watched the full game of the 1970 World Cup final, the recording of it, because when you grew up in Brazil, and mainly even my dad too, even though my dad didn't really watch much of Pele, he caught the end of his career, but it was more like my grandfather, people talking about Pele. It's almost like I don't even know how to say. It's not even a soccer player. Like, people talk about him as
it's a legend.
Yeah, it's like a mystical figure. And then Pele did this, and it's much more than that.
It's close to. I know this is going to sound really John Lennon-ish, but it's almost Jesus-like.
From a soccer perspective, it goes beyond
metaphorically.
That.
Yeah,
I don't remember where it was too, but there were some countries in Africa, I think, that were like in war, and then Pele went there, and there was like a game, and they stopped the war for Pele, and then obviously they went back to war after. But it was. I don't think people realize how much obviously now it's died off towards the end of his life. But I don't think people realize the influence Pele had in soccer in the 70s, 80s, the last century, right?
Well, I can tell you, I wouldn't have started playing soccer at the age of 5 without Pele. That changed everything. I grew up early on in Germany. That certainly had an effect. But when I moved to the States, where are you going to play soccer if Pele didn't make soccer like an actual youth sport? Suddenly, out of fucking thin air in the 70s, late 70s, early 70s, soccer was available to kids, and that was all Pele.
Yeah,
that
I also think that one of the reasons why Pele, when people started getting into that argument, who's better, Pele or Messi? It doesn't matter. That's the first thing I usually say. It doesn't matter who's better. Different genre. I think what's more mystical about Pele and different about Messi is everyone watches Messi. You can all watch Messi all day long, every day. Pele, back in the day in the 60s, it was very hard to watch his games live. So whenever he was playing somewhere in Europe, it was like such a lot of people, I'm going to go watch Pele. I'm going to go this. Whenever they could get recordings or whenever they saw him in the World Cup, it was much more special because it was hard to watch. It's almost as if like this.
Rare.
As if you couldn't watch Messi all the time, and it was like Brett in Europe telling you what he did this week, and you're like, holy shit, I need to watch Messi. And then you finally get a chance to watch Messi, and he like scores a hat trick, and that's what made Pele maybe more mystical than Messi. But yeah, he's
you know what it's comparable to in a lot of ways, and this is in a metaphoric way. Remember, Brett might remember this. You won't, Filippo. When it was really hard to get your hands on good porn, And I'm saying, and then now, like if you, when I was a kid, like I turned 18, I went to the porn shop and bought my very first porn VHS tape, and it was like gold. I'm like, I'm going to get to watch
there's always
have sex.
There was always something to it where you're watching a scrambled TV or channel on TV, like channel 99, and then watching, and then all of a sudden randomly a random tit pops up.
Oh, well, yeah, you had Skinamax back then, right? Skinamax.
No, I caught the easy days. I didn't go through that struggle, so
now kids just
was walking around like, you guys had to do what now? And he's looking on his phone. I'm like, I got it right here.
Kids just pop their phone up and they start whacking it. You know, it's like no big fucking
This is the second
deal.
show in a row where we've talked about kids whacking. Let's stop this right now. Thank goodness we're 55
When I
minutes into the
say
show. We're not going to
kids,
get hit.
To me,
yeah. I think this is where we got to draw the line.
I'm talking about young people, guys, not just I'm not talking about actual children.
It's getting worse, Derek. We're talking about young adults, like 18 and up, right?
I'm just saying, when I was a young adult, you know, watching people have sex on TV was a big fucking deal, and now it's just a joke. It's like, who cares? Like, that's a normal everyday effect for most people.
Yeah.
So anyhow, sorry to compare Pele to fucking porn, but you know, I mean, I'm just talking about how things degrade in specialness when they're too normal. It's too normalized, right?
Yeah. Someone asked me about name dropping the Orlando City guy that reached out. I really don't remember his name. I don't remember. It's something.
It's probably changed over like 5 times since. So
yeah, who knows? Like, I really don't remember his name, but yeah. But again, I don't even need to name drop him. It was more of like giving him credit for reaching out, not being a dick to me. Like, it's like, hey, F you for saying Orlando is not known Orlando by saying the truth here. No, he reached out in a respectful way.
You know, it's not like who's the pro rel guy we always talk about. He's been around for like 15 years.
Chris?
Ted?
Ted. Thank you, Ted. It's not like you're Ted, you know? Ted Westerfeld he's like almost neurotic to the point of not being able to talk to him because he's so invested in pro rel. And even when Grant Wall died, all he did was post, Grant Wall died, many thanks to him, but Grant Wall supported pro rel. What the fuck, dude? The dude just died. Let him die first before you use him as a tool to do more of your P&R stuff. That's Greg, or that's Ted Westerfeld. We're no test. We're very balanced people. You're a very balanced person. You give pros, you give cons. It's not like you're just a con guy, you know, like a negative. We also
understand that why the league didn't have pro rel to start with. We're just saying that if it could, and if it's still a possibility in the future, we're all for it. But we understand the complexities of not having it, and even the negatives of having pro rel. There are a few.
I'm all for pro rel. What I'm saying is a guy like Ted can't win anybody over to the argument.
No, he's like the MLS extremist. He's like the other way around. Like, right, the MLS. Right. We're talking about Nico, how he drives away fans.
Exactly.
That's what he does too. Yeah.
Yeah. Ted does the same thing. I mean, listen. I've talked about it. I have an old video out from like 10 years ago that talked about the way we will have pro rel. And I explained it in a very rational way back then because I had insiders at MLS at the time who told me exactly what the plan was. They said, listen, you think we're going to stop at 20 teams? Ha! What a joke. No, we're not. We're not stopping at 20 teams.
My entire point.
And then I would post stuff like that up. Yeah, and people would be like, oh, you're full of shit. They can't go beyond 22 teams, 23 teams. No, we're going to 32. Trust me, that was always the plan. It's been the plan for 10 years. And people would bust my balls for that. But I said, once you get to like 48 teams or even 32, you can split the league in two and have MLS 1 and MLS 2. And then if you have 48 teams, by the way, you're basically covering every major market you can possibly cover in the United States. So if you have MLS 1 and MLS 2 with 22 teams in one and 22 team in MLS 2, you're covered. That's pretty much going to be it. 2 divisions, MLS 1, MLS 2. What do you think about that? That's something I came up with 10 years ago, and now it's looking like it could be reality.
I was going to make that same point, but again, you walked all over me.
Well, I wrote it. So.
I started talking. You're like, well, I did a video 10 years ago, and
well, I wrote it.
It got me a little bit of like back in my day vibes.
Yeah, I know, old man.
When I used to make videos
back in the day.
Early days of YouTubes.
before I was an old man.
So Aaron Long, now I'm seeing it on screen. I wasn't even paying attention to the screen. So Aaron Long is gonna get himself a club finally.
Well,
Yeah.
It's gonna be an MLS club.
It's gonna
He's
be
got
an
offers
MLS.
elsewhere though, including Saudi Arabia.
Oh Jesus!
He should go play there with Ronaldo.
It's not.
It could have been Brooks and him at center back pairing, lacing up balls to Ronaldo.
Oh my God, Derek. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brett. Brett's the one that controls the Twitter account. Brett, you need to put the tweet that I put up earlier today about this report specifically. You want me to read it instead?
Yeah, that'd be good. You
Just
wanna share your screen?
Just tell me you and Tom ain't going at it now.
No. I
Okay,
mean,
good.
my tweet was very respectful, not directed specifically to Tom, but just in general about MLS accounts when they report it. I said when someone reports on an MLS player having interest from England, it likely means it's the championship. If it was the Premier League, they would say it. Now, when they say Europe, it's likely outside of the top leagues. Otherwise, they would specifically
Belgium,
say the Bundesliga,
Switzerland.
Serie A.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he's saying including 2 in England, that's the championship. If it was the Premier League, he would make sure to say, even if it was 1, he would say 1 from the Premier League.
And Tom's got all these connections to all these agents. So this isn't
It's
bullshit.
not even agent. The league he works for the league. They feed him whatever they want him to say.
I get that, but he also knows some of the agents of these guys. And so they're only going to feed him generic shit. They're not going to tell him specifics. When they say England, we all know it's the championship, but they're not going to say that because they're going to try to boost money and make more prospects.
I actually think that the league also tells him sometimes not that they tell him what to say, but they give him what they want him to say.
Oh, of course.
Do you really think the league wants them to say, like, oh yeah, Long's getting a couple interests and probably is going to go to the championship, when you have pundits on the same side saying that we are in contention of picking up insert player here for the same price that Benfica is getting them? We're in competition with Benfica about getting the same players. It's the same argument, but like you wouldn't say like, oh, we're sending our players over to a league that they may consider themselves superior over. I'm not saying the championship's less than MLS by any means, but they're also saying at the same side that a player that's going from a South American team somewhere in South America, for who it was, is going to Benfica for like $10 million. And somebody came on and said, well, MLS could have competed with that. Really couldn't.
Not really.
Money-wise, yes, you could compete with that.
Somewhat.
Well, sort of, right?
It depends where your money is.
I saw the guy that looks like he has a profile picture that looks like he's like a cologne commercial guy. He said that MLS, like Enzo Fernandez, was on MLS price range, which to a certain extent it's true, even though he made like a lot of money, like DP money, 2.5, and if MLS matched that, Benfica probably would pay more. But nevertheless, it goes a bit beyond soccer, right? Beyond money. It goes a little bit into, if you have an offer from Benfica, you have like projection to grow in your career. Almost like when you have a career in engineering or whatever you have, you could take like a bit of a pay cut if you see a path in your career for that, like a better path where you're like, okay, I might make less money for a year or two, but it could randomly explode. I can grow in this company. It works. So MLS outside of the US, at least, even in the US to a certain extent, is not really taken very much seriously, just to be honest, right? You go to South America, no player is going to pick MLS over Benfica unless MLS pays like 3 or 4 times the amount of money. Then you might get him.
Well, that's why we see so many really young players come, like 18, 19, because they're still prospects, right? If you're 25, you're not going to make that leap because you're already hoping to make that leap to Europe, is maybe what you're saying.
But Derek, let me also debunk a bit of a fake narrative that MLS accounts have been putting out. They've been saying that MLS is signing top South American talent, which is complete nonsense. Okay. Thales Magno, for example, he's actually a great player, and he was at one point highly rated in Brazil, but he had a very bad injury. I think it was a knee injury. His team got relegated. So when they signed him, he wasn't hyped anymore. He was a player that was injury prone in the 2nd division of Brazil. And then you have these fans in MLS telling me that Thales Magno is a major prospect. No, he wasn't. The major prospect in Brazil is the 16-year-old that Real Madrid just paid $70 million for. Vinicius
Yes.
Jr.,
Yeah.
Andre Santos that just went to Chelsea at age 18. These are the top prospects. Now, when you talk about Brenner, too, from FC Cincinnati, he was an okay center forward in Brazil.
Yeah, we're talking about middling prospects then.
Yeah, they're like good, like, and they can develop and become great, like Miguel Almiron right now.
Almiron's a good example.
But they're not getting the best players from South America. They're not getting Enzo Fernandez, not getting Julian Alvarez. Do people forget that Moises Caicedo, that just balled down the World Cup for Ecuador and for Brighton, the Premier League, Atlanta United offered him more money, and he still chose Brighton. He chose. It's not Benfica. It's not Man United. Brighton offered less money than Atlanta United, and he still went to Brighton.
I mean, still going to go to England if you got
the
chance.
But my point is, it wasn't like Chelsea tried to bring him. It was a like team that doesn't have that much international recognition, and they offered less money than Atlanta United, and he still went to Brighton.
That was my whole argument about the Benfica signing compared to what MLS could have offered. Yeah, they could have financially offered the same amount, but 99 out of 100 times, the person's going to pick Benfica over an MLS team.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Also, they like to use Thiago Almada as an example. Almada had some very specific circumstances that I'm not going to address here in the channel right now. People can go look it up, why he left Argentina. I don't want to bring it up here. And he came to MLS. He also won the World Cup. That is true, but he was completely useless in that roster. He didn't have to be there, and he only made it because a lot of players were injured. So don't compare Almada to Enzo. And Almada is a very talented player that is about to leave MLS.
Yep, and he's got herpes. All right,
he might actually have herpes.
Okay,
and depending, and he might actually deserve it. So.
That was a joke, by the way. I don't want any calls from lawyers tomorrow morning.
Yes, that was a joke too. I don't think anyone deserves herpes. People are saying Caicedo is on $3,500 a week, 3,500 pounds a week. That is true. 3,500, which is a salary that MLS can match very easily. But again, he didn't want to join Atlanta United. He wanted to go to Brighton because the top talent in South America would never pick MLS.
Well, wait, MLS or EPL? I mean, even if the salary is comparable. Or better in MLS. You're going to go 9 again. 100 out of 100 times they're going to go to EPL. And
by the way,
unless the player doesn't believe in his own talent.
Yeah,
there's not much of a prospect at that point.
By the way, nobody deserves herpes, but you can earn it. You can earn herpes.
Usually, it's earned.
Yes,
a lot of
as
trial
LeBron James would say, earned, not given.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry you got it, but you probably should have known better.
I got good news. Guys. I have an update on the whole Jordan Morris leaving Seattle, or being shopped around in Seattle. Who wants to read that last paragraph? Can you guys read that?
We got off the phone with Bolin, June, and his colleagues. I can confirm that the report is indeed accurate. Lil would like to get this deal completed in the next one. Lil? What? They already have a guy. They don't play. And his name is fucking Timothy Weah.
They want to push away at right wing back so they can bring Morrison to take his spot.
Well, he doesn't have a spot. Weah doesn't play for Lille. He played 5-6 minutes this weekend.
Is that account a real account?
No. So this is the whole point. Brian says it's a fake account because bitch went away. The whole point of me bringing that up was that somebody said that people will create accounts just to say anything they want to say. So basically, nobody's taking that account serious, but it's fun to talk about.
By the way,
I don't think Morris is going anywhere unless he goes to a USL side.
I think Twitter had you unfollow me for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
I was able to add you in the DM.
Did you unfollow?
I don't unfollow anyone.
All right. Hey, unless we have some more tweets to deal with, Brett.
I'll deal with this later,
Huh?
I'll deal with that later.
Okay. So I just want to say for the weekend, at least, I don't know if you caught the Fulham game, but I think Ream and Jedi were fucking fabulous this weekend. Again, I think Ream is really turned out to be something special. It just took him 10 years to get there, 15 years to get there. And they beat Southampton. I get it. They're not a great team. But, boy, I just really enjoy watching Fulham games. And maybe that's because I'm a Fulham longtime fan. But did you catch the game, Filippo?
I'm trying to remember which one I watched the one Ream scored, but
What
that
is
wasn't the
this?
last one. That was the one against Palace that Richards
Yeah.
came in. But yeah, they've been surprising me because I thought Fulham was going to be a relegation candidate, but right now they're
Yeah.
looking strong for top 10.
They do. They really do. I mean, that excites the my giblets because I'm a big Fulham fan. And then we had Aronson and Adams playing to a tie with Newcastle. And I got to be frank, even though Adams was very good, I'm getting a little disturbed by Aronson running around a lot, but not really doing anything.
Well, that's not surprising, is it?
It isn't, but it's worrying. It's not getting better.
Well, but it's not going to get better. That is Brendan Aronson. That's what I think. I got so much hate a few months ago.
You're joining on board with Calcio. What's his name?
No, not that. I mean, that he's crazy, but he does make sense at times. But look, you got to understand when a player's. I think every player should have athleticism or work rate. It's not even athleticism with Brendan. He gets pushed
work
around.
Rate. Yeah.
His work rate. But if work rate is your main attribute, you are going to struggle at the highest level. If that's your main attribute, that's what you are good at. Tyler Adams, the one thing that's bothering me about Tyler Adams is people are getting way too hyped for any like trash talk or shit house that he does.
You're talking about the ball kick thing?
Yeah, I mean, but he does that every week. Like he tells the player to get up. It's like, guys, we're gonna hype that every week and ignore a lot of the technical deficiencies of Tyler Adams. He's a great player, but I do also believe that Leeds is his level. I know a lot of people are saying he can go to an Europa League, Champions League team. He was in the Europa League team. Well, technically Champions League, but if Leipzig was in the Premier League, they would be an Europa League team. They wouldn't be a Champions League. So He was in Leipzig, and he couldn't start unless Jesse was there. When Jesse wasn't there, Nagelsmann would push him to a wingback position or put him on the bench. And I understand that players improve, and Tyler is improving as a player, but I think he is that type of player, that he's like a very good mid-table. I think he can maybe upgrade to mid-table in the Premier League. I don't think he's a relegation one. Brendan Aronson, on the other hand, as an attacker in the Premier League, you have to be more effective. And like you said, I'm not seeing it.
No, I'm not. And this is really disappointing because when he first got there, it looked so good. And then it's starting to settle into this sort of middling level of
Dan James.
Yeah, it's not what we were hoping for. Like, and I'm fine with him running all over the fucking place, but I do need him to shoot better. I do need him to make better decisions.
You need him to shoot, period, is what you need.
Well, he did last game, and when he did, it wasn't very good. So I'm a little concerned with Aronson. I'm wondering if we're looking at a ceiling. I hope we're not. I know he's still young, but it's starting to look like a ceiling for me, and that was worrisome. I didn't think I would start to see a ceiling for Aronson until maybe a couple more seasons, but I'm not seeing any leaps of improvement since he got to Leeds in the last, say, 6 or 7 games. Just not seeing anything.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Seeing the same shit.
I don't know. You see the same thing, but what we also see is we also see Leeds without an actual 9 at this point, an actual striker. And yes, you do have Somerville who comes in who's been scoring goals. But what I see with Aronson a lot of the time is that he's always that player, especially when it comes to the goals itself that comes with Leeds. He's always that player that has the ball, that does the move and the work, that lays it off to the guy, and then he passes the ball for the assist.
Well,
yeah.
He's always in that build-up for the play, but he never actually gets recorded for any form of stat for it.
I think the problem is when you see players that grew up in a better development system. No offense to Philly, but
throwing shade at Philly.
There's better. You can see the players sometimes change the tempo of the game a little bit and change a little bit of like how much he runs, how he runs, where he runs. Brendan Aronson just seems like he's always 200 miles an hour. Doesn't matter.
Is Jesse telling him to do that though? Isn't that?
I mean, he's always been like that. He's that in the national team. He was like that in Salzburg. The thing with Salzburg, it helped a little bit too because in the Champions League they played in transition sometimes, and that helped Brendan. I don't see Leeds playing transition. A little bit against Man City, but again, Man City is not a good sample. They dominate too much. But I just don't see Brendan being that effective. He gets pushed around way too easily. The shot's not strong enough for the Premier League. The goalkeepers are better. He's going to have to develop a lot. I think Brendan is 22, 21, 22?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
In that range,
I mean, it's not like he's young enough that he will improve, but he's looking more and more And like what I said when he went to the Premier League, he'll be like a Dan James level player. That's what I think he'll be.
Well, Dan James can't get time for Fulham, so he's already above that a little
Well,
bit.
would Brendan Aronson play for Fulham?
It's 22, by the way, but yeah.
Not probably
He
not
wouldn't.
start.
He
No,
wouldn't start.
He wouldn't start.
So
not the
there
way
you
they're
have it.
playing right now. Yeah,
But I mean, Dan James made it to Man United at one point.
Yeah,
And he
well,
played. He played, not starting, but he got a lot of time with Man United. I watched him. It was horrible.
It's kind of like Joffe for me, Gelhardt at Leeds. It's like I'm not seeing all this. I know Dan James at one point was highly rated. I've just never really seen much out of Dan James or Joffe. So
I guess it would have been nice to keep James, since they didn't pick up the what's his face from League when they got rid of James. It would have helped Leeds to keep him. But
no, it would be nice to have him there instead of Joffe. Actually, I'm going to move on to Musa. And his 50, by the way, Turner was in the 18 for Arsenal, so there's nothing to talk about. But Musa went 57 in a 2-1 loss to Villarreal. I got to watch probably 30 minutes of that, and then I had to turn it off. I wasn't that impressed, but that's not really a reflection on Musa necessarily. And then Pulisic went 87, a second start in a row in a 1-1 tie versus Forest. And I thought he was fine, but again, there's just something missing on that team. Something missing.
A midfield.
Yeah, a transition. Yeah, from back to front.
Hey, Luka Modric, right? You have Kovacic there. You have Jorginho. I can't stand watching Jorginho anymore. But they need like a Luka Modric there, someone to connect with the forwards. I thought Pulisic was fine. I thought he was fine. Said this. It was hard to rate his performance. It was like not bad, but it was very efficient. He didn't really step a foot wrong, right?
That's what Ronaldo said. He said not his best performance, and the people jumped on top of him. And he's like, I didn't say he played bad. He was still one of the best attacking players on there, but he's like,
hey, he did get yanked down in the box though. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. That's a penalty.
It was funny because you guys were talking about not having a midfield. I think you guys were talking about Norwich for a second there.
No, same thing there. That I'm getting so.
Norwich is the Chelsea of EFL.
It's just I'm getting so despondent watching Norwich games at this point because it seems so hopeless. They just have no midfield whatsoever, and I think they're by the next 10 games or 8 games. I think they could be in relegation zone. Honestly, I think they could be. And that's not on Sargent, and that's not on Pookie. It's like there's just no service.
I mean, just looking at the rankings, I think I sent this to you when you said that Norwich sucks. The 3 they had up top all were like anywhere between 3.2 and 3.5s out of 5s, and then everybody else on the team was like 2.2 and belows.
Well, Sargent didn't wake up until 50 minutes into the game, so that's an issue. And he's got to be more assertive again. I feel like I saw him throw up his hands a couple times when he didn't get the pass, but
Larry says that he drew 5 fouls, won 11 out of 15 duels, created a few chances, and had 1 shot on goal.
Yeah, but something's not going right there. And I'd rather see Sargent play CAM or center forward than play right wing. I'm getting sick of that. That doesn't seem to really work. But we'll see who the new manager is. They still don't have a new one.
I tell you, man, the last time
Greg Berhalter.
Somebody posted that too.
No, say it ain't so.
I don't know whether it's Chris or whether it's somebody else. They had posted a picture of Greg. It says Greg could come and save them.
No, I don't think so. Hey, by the way, go ahead.
I was gonna say the last time I was thoroughly entertained and Norwich dominated I've ever seen was when they played the empty bucket. That was in the Premier League. That was last year. They've had some good games this season, but it's never been very convincing, quite frankly.
No, it hasn't
so
been.
I mean, go back to the 2 striker. That formation needs to come back. I'm tired of this whole 4-3-3 garbage.
Gets a little boring.
It's not my shtick.
They switched to a 4-2-2 on occasion, but right back to the 4-3-3. Dwayne Holmes. Hey, Dwayne fucking Holmes scored a goal this weekend, by the way. Not that he's ever going to play for the U.S.
He's getting rock hard because Berhalter might be gone.
Hey, they still lost. And they're in relegation zone, Dwayne Holmes and his Huddersfield teammates. Horvath, though, did go. 90 in the win in that game. I think they're in 7th, so they're peaking. We'll get through this. There's not many players that played this weekend. Stefan 90. Hoppy did not dress again after getting some minutes before during the break. Now he's back to not even being on the fucking bench, and I have no information on injuries.
Well, Matthew Hoppy also. It was Mallorca, now Middlesbrough, different coaches.
Yep.
He's also, how old is he right now? Let me check. He's 21 and
21,
he turns 22 in March. So he's close to 22. So he's not that young, right? He's not an 18-year-old or 19-year-old struggling for minutes.
Right.
I don't know, guys. At some point we have to
I know.
It's a hill. We've already decided we're going to die on that hill. So
I don't want to say it. By the way, there are some family members we know, so it's kind of hard for me to be that critical. But it is a little weird. It's getting weird at this point. Okay, so this is now another new team, and it's again you're not getting to play. And what's the deal? And at some point, somebody's going to have to look in the mirror, right, and say, "What's wrong with me? Is it my attitude? Is it my technical ability? Is there something? What am I missing?" I guess is basically the point. Is there hope still there? Well, in my heart, there's still hope because, personal reasons. All right.
Here's some news on the coaching situation, though.
Penis head, Berhalter. All right.
But I mean, I guess good news for Stefan. I don't know if this is any indication on how he's performing there, but since returning, or his last 7 games, he's 6-1, so 6 wins, 1 loss, I guess.
Yeah, Middlesbrough been playing.
It's gonna be positive for him, but I mean, it's no indication of how he's performing.
Brett, Derek, I have to go get
all right.
No, man. Thanks for jumping on board, man.
Kind of late.
Thanks for the surprise jump on. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, I told you if I was home, I would be here. But since y'all never asked for it, before I go, bye-bye to everyone in the chat. It was nice to be here once again. We're going to start revamping the channel again. I haven't uploaded since the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone asking, the Americans Abroad series will come back January 9th. So next Monday. It'll be back next Monday.
You're going to have to compete with our Americans Abroad.
Yeah, I'm doing it to compete with this one right here. But you guys can help them right now by getting those likes up. You should have 100 likes in this video right now. Should have over 100.
We're over 100 viewers right now. If only everybody would click that like button and that subscribe button. Let's do that too.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Hit the like button if Breck shaves the goat. That's it. That's all you need. But anyhow, stay safe, everyone, and don't get herpes. Definitely don't get herpes. Okay.
Welly. Yes.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Later. Back.
Oh, you know what? You want to know something that's weird right now? There's we've had like 129 people watching us, but my chat has not been updating on StreamYard. I've been stuck since 9:25 was the last chat. People are like, "Man, why is Brett being a dick and not responding at all?"
Let me see if I can see the chat.
Chris Gary for $1.99 says Berhalter to Norwich. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. I would love to pull it up, but StreamYard's being a dick.
I can't pull up our chat either.
And wow, I can't go back anywhere. Jesus.
Let me see.
Horrible. How far
okay, I've got it up. I don't
even know how long ago that was. Man.
You said 9:25 was the last?
For me, yes.
It's the last I got too. And that's on fucking YouTube. Nope, that's on StreamYard. So something is wrong, folks.
Something's amiss.
It's not our fault.
So I'm gonna keep Twitter or YouTube up so I can keep an eye on that. If I happen, If I happen to have missed, I had the pause. Okay, I was wondering why we were frozen on it. If I happen to have missed any super chats, guys, we will pull it up on Thursday. I apologize.
Yeah, it's not us. It's StreamYard because I'm on StreamYard now, and it does in fact stop at 9:25.
Yep. And YouTube chat's still moving along. So
we already talked about Trusty, by the way. So I'm going to do DK. He scored a goal.
Yeah, DK.
66 minutes, and West Brom are in 9th. So
won 5 out of 6 duels. Drew 3 fouls, 8 shots in total. He had 8 shots. Fuck.
Yep.
Man, West Brom must be giving them all the opportunities in the world.
EPB went 90 for 3 in a win, another win. EPB is one of those guys who got totally fucked in this selection with Long being picked over him. Weah went 6 little minutes. I already mentioned it. And then you had the Rangers versus Celtic big game where CCV went 90, Tillman went 85, Sands went 5. He came in for Tillman, and the game ended 2-2. Ian Harkes 90 in a 1-0 win for Dundee United, and Christian Ramirez played 63 minutes for Aberdeen, which is a rarity for him. He's been benched pretty much the whole season. So there you go. That is the Yanks Abroad report for today, folks. And at 1:25, we're probably going to end this. I want to thank everybody for showing up, for coming out, and thank Kat for coming out just unexpectedly. That's really awesome when that happens. So we will be back on Thursday, hopefully with a lot of things maybe we could tell you about, updating about whether Greg's going to be there in January or it's
or at least we'll cover the Twitter posts from this show, because there were some off ones, but we with Tack coming on board, it did kind of push our normal shtick out further.
What do you mean, longer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we rushed through the actual weekend report because there wasn't a lot to cover there by any means. So we had all these questions ready for Twitter, but then Tack came on, so we had a lot more to talk about.
Yes.
And we covered a topic that you and I personally probably would have covered in 5 seconds because we didn't have a lot of insight on some things. And Tack came in and added some insight, sparked conversation, which was fun.
Yeah.
And I think talking about Nico and all the MLS pundits in that sense was a lot more fun than some of the stuff we had lined up. But yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay.
It was still a lot of fun to talk about.
It was great having.
I did really want to real quickly want to pull this up, and this is one of the best Venn diagrams I've seen in a long time.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What fuck? The fuck? I love it.
I think it's
really
great. It's a great Venn diagram.
Yes, it's nowhere near the Sargent and Ferreira/Pepe diagram we created, but it is pretty good. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you buy my album. It's down there somewhere. If you haven't heard it, you can still check it out. There's a video on YouTube's about that. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you wear a welly. That's also known as a rubber. And don't get herpes.
Or Jimmy.
Yeah, you can wear a Jimmy. All right. Good night, folks.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on a line. Or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell?